IT politics. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday. Short week, so we'll have Friday tomorrow. Kind of cool. I hope everyone's having a great day. Good news, really good news, not unexpected, but Senator Elizabeth Warren has not only joined Senator Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill, she has become a co-sponsor, or has announced that she will be a co-sponsor. Kamala Harris made a similar announcement last week, and Elizabeth Warren will also be a co-sponsor. So a huge name behind this bill. That's really exciting. She announced today that she's co-sponsoring Senator Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill, which is set to be introduced next week in the Senate. That's very important, guys. So we are going to be able to know who's behind this bill, who's advocating for it, who's voting for it. This will be, and yeah, the establishment hates a litmus test, but a very important litmus test going forward. We will be able to know who is progressive on this issue. That is important. Who stands with the majority of the American people who want federally funded health care? Even when you phrase it like that, it polls at almost 60%. So yes, this is a really exciting bill, a really exciting development, and we'll get to know, it's not going to pass, but we will get to know who is on our side and who is not. In a statement, Warren said there is something fundamentally wrong when one of the richest and most powerful countries on the planet can't make sure that a person can afford to see a doctor when they're sick. This isn't any way to live. I believe it's time to step back and ask, what is the best way to deliver high-quality, low-cost health care to all Americans? Everything should be on the table, and that's why I'm co-sponsoring Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill that will be introduced later this month, the senator added. Again, this is not a huge surprise. Elizabeth Warren is widely known as the second most progressive senator in the country behind Bernie Sanders. She's long expressed support for the idea, but was a little tepid until, I would say, earlier this year, she kind of went all in and said, I'm for Medicare for All, specifically that bill. You know, there were different ideations of and different ideas, kind of like, you know, single payer, how are we going to phrase it? But she said earlier, I believe in June or May, that she was for Medicare for All, so that's great. So while Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren are co-sponsoring it, make no mistake, this is Bernie Sanders' baby, and he clawed to have this in the national discourse. He dragged it onto mainstream media and onto television. He made sure it was in people's minds and in people's hearts and in their mouths. And while the rest of the Democratic Party goes Russia, 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 Bernie Sanders is making sure that legislation is on the table. It won't get passed under a Trump administration, but God, it's going to go forward when we have a progressive in the White House, and we better have a progressive in the White House. So putting it on the table is extremely important, and getting senators on record is extremely important. You know, you could be progressive about X, Y, and Z, but if you're not on Medicare for All, how are you actually a progressive? A majority of Americans support it. If you are not past where a majority of Americans are, you, by definition, are not progressive. And I like to be, again, I preach nuance, but it's a pretty standard litmus test, honestly. Medicare for All, let's join the rest of the industrialized world. So while Kamala Harris is talking about this, you know, not a lot of people think she's that progressive. On this issue, at least she is. She's leading the fight. Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, while they're all doing this, the old guard of the Democratic establishment is still squabbling over 2016. Now, look, I enjoy talking about Hillary Clinton as much as anybody else. I don't maybe enjoy it, but I think it's necessary because she represents a lot of the old guard, a lot of the old way of establishment thinking, and the arrogance is so palpable that it's like red meat. You know, it's easy to discuss, but I do think it's relevant because look at how the legislators are moving forward. And I'll get into what's happening. So Hillary Clinton keeps trying to get the last word in and remain relevant in the public eye. She's going on this book tour and releasing parts of her book called What Happened. And then underneath it says Hillary Rodham Clinton. Maybe there should just be an arrow pointing down about what happened in 2016. In this book, she slammed Bernie Sanders recently and essentially blamed him for losing the election. You can watch Jordan's video on that topic. She blames everyone but herself What a surprise. She blames the Bernie bros. She mentions them by name, saying they were very sexist. And she also blamed Senator Sanders himself and said that he had to resort to innuendo and impugning my character because the two Democrats agreed on so much. Unbelievable. I mean, Bernie couldn't even name the bankruptcy bill when she said, how did I name my position? Because he was too nice. His most famous line in the primary was, I don't want to talk about her damn emails. That's impugning your character? I mean, it just goes to show that sometimes when you're nice, they just stab you in the back because it's easier. President Obama, Cenk put up some great footage of him in 2008 in the primary, or in 2007, going hard after her about her PACs and how she's bought, and just going crazy. But of course, they're buddy-buddy now, and Obama put Citigroup in his cabinet. So he's a part of the establishment, but now that she's lost against a monster, and there's no way that you could blame anyone but yourself, then you have to resort to blaming like the easiest target, the nicest guy in the world, the person whose morality is unquestioned by even the farthest right people. He is absolutely, unquestionably having the moral high ground, and no one with any brain cells would say otherwise. So this is what she wrote. When I finally challenged Bernie during the debate to name a single time I changed a position or a vote because of a financial contribution, he couldn't come up with anything. 1. The bankruptcy bill. Nonetheless, his attacks caused lasting damage, making it hard to unify progressives in the general election and paving the way for Trump's Crooked Hillary campaign. I gotta tell you, I think Trump was calling you Crooked Hillary way beforehand, and you were crooked. That was the point. I mean, maybe you shouldn't have done those things and blame your own actions that led to that perception, that accurate perception, as opposed to blaming someone who very tepidly pointed out that perception and didn't even go hard enough, went less hard than President Obama, your dearly beloved Obama, who, by the way, you leaked a picture of him in African Muslim-looking garb to the press in a way to smear him in a Trump-esque racist fashion, resulting to personal attack, she says Bernie did, while she did that to President Obama, let alone her team leaking a picture of Bernie Sanders to the press. Wow, see, I got caught in the Clinton craziness. But I really do want to make a point. Apparently her inner circle isn't too happy about this because it's not just progressives and common sense people that think this is nuts, it's people that she used to work with and people that used to respect her and endorsed her. The best thing she could do is disappear, said one former Clinton fundraiser and surrogate who played an active role in the convention. She's doing harm to all of us because of her own selfishness. Honestly, I wish she'd just shut the fuck up and go away. Yeah, I kind of agree. None of this is good for the party, said one former Obama aide. It's the Hillary show, 100%. A lot of us are scratching our heads and wondering what she's trying to do. It's certainly not helpful. What she's trying to do is do a denial tour and say that it's not her fault. I gotta tell you, Hillary Clinton, you are not very popular. In fact, you're less popular than Donald Trump, the monster who can't string two words together and literally is like a child when his chief of staff, John Kelly, reports come out, he essentially has to babysit him. You're less popular than that. Have some introspection. That's all we wanted after this loss. Some idea, you did stuff wrong. Think about it. Nah, it's Bernie's fault, the Bernie bros. It's everyone else's fault. Bernie paved the way for Crooked Hillary by challenging me from the left. By the way, because we agreed on so much, she's still playing that same game, saying that she's the same as Bernie Sanders. What did you agree on? You didn't agree on Medicare for all. You didn't agree on free college for all. You didn't agree on going after the banks and breaking them up. You didn't agree on anti-fracking. What did you agree on? Being a person who isn't insane like Donald Trump? Yeah, I would just say that you guys kind of agreed on that, which is why I voted for you. But you make it hard. You make it hard for everyone. For Clinton, it's not really, and this is from Politico, for Clinton, it's not about the future of the Democratic Party. She's promoting the book because she doesn't think the story of 2016 has been told properly. People close to her believe that there's still no closure from 2016 and that no one has offered her a reliable autopsy. Figure it out yourself. Her inner circle, which has slowly whittled down to longtime aides like Uma Abedin, Nick Merrill, Philippe Reines, Dan Schwarten, Dan Swearin, and a few friends, is defiant. So while, again, a lot of these old Clinton aides are now, or Clinton surrogates, Clinton aides, whatever, are leaking to the press that they want her to shut the fuck up and talking behind her back, which, you know, I get it. While all of that is going on, Senator Bernie Sanders, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Kamala Harris, people who, yes, are senators, are fighting the fight for Medicare for all. Where have any of the Democratic establishment said anything about that issue? Instead of just playing catfights, they should be talking about policy, but they're not. You know, what is Hillary Clinton using her influence for? To say, oh, woe is me, poor Bernie bros attacked me, as opposed to trying to make positive change in this country. And that's what they're doing. Look at the schism. Look at Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, and yeah, I'm including Harris in this. Look at how they're focusing on the issues, and look at what the old Clinton guard is doing. Blame game, anonymous attacks in the media, going after each other, talking about a stupid book that no one should ever buy. And this is what Bernie had to say about it. So what did Bernie have to say? Sanders brushed off Clinton's criticism in a Wednesday interview with The Hill, saying, it's time for Democrats to look forward, not backward. And then he changed the topic. Of course, it has always been about the issues for progressives. And for Clinton, since she's not a progressive, that's been the problem. She's been short on ideas ever since she began selling out. You know, when she was First Lady, she had some good ideas. But then she became a senator and got so sucked into this. And she can't see straight. The reason she isn't championing ideas, even a counter idea to Bernie Sanders, is because she has none anymore. She's got nothing except herself and her ego. And the people that surrounded her, these sycophants. And I use sycophants when I talk about Donald Trump because, honestly, it's the same thing with Hillary Clinton. People surrounding her that just tell her she's so great. They're just talking about herself. They're not talking about issues. And I am so proud of these three senators, especially Bernie, who brought this onto the stage, onto the national stage, single-handedly. Single-handedly, honestly. And I am so disgusted with the Democratic establishment who still, after this disastrous election, can't realize that it's about the issues. It's about the issues. People care about the issues. And that's why Bernie, you know, he didn't get on the national stage because of his model good looks. Sorry, Bernie, you're a wonderful man, but, you know, you're no Ryan Gosling. Oh, I love him. Now I'm calm again. You know, I mean, it's about the issues. People want substance. And what this catfighting is it's nothing about substance. It is anti-substance. So while Clinton's busy in the woods or tweeting one thing about the Women's March or, you know, mulling over herself, there are people actually on the front lines doing you know, I don't want to say God's work, but actually fighting for the American people. So, look, you know, I'm glad that this bill is coming to the Senate because we will see who votes for it. And for the people that are like, oh, Kamala Harris is a sellout, you know what? I don't know her heart, as they say. I don't know what's in her heart, but I know what she did, and I know what the bill is. I don't care about what's in her heart. I care what's in the bill. And we will see who votes for this bill. So take a win. Have a good day, guys.